going on? Let me flip this camera around. So I'm gonna film this joint one more time real quick, not the whole time, cause I gave it a makeover. I put the rest of the tannins that I'm gonna put in here, the botanicals, and then Luis, you came through with that wood, bro. I threw some of that in there too. Look. So appreciate it. Let everybody pile in, and we can get this show on the road. What's going on, bro? I was just saying, you came through with that wood. I'm gonna film this one real quick for a few seconds, and then I'm gonna go to another tank and chop it up there. But yeah, there goes some of it right there. It's nice. What's up, man? What's up? Waiting for people to start piling in. Not piling in, more like a slow drip. But it is what it is. How did Moss Project go? What was that? What kind of wood was that? Was that it looked like Mopani, but I could be wrong. Was that Mopani or Malaysian? Oh, okay, that's what's up. I'm sitting up here looking at these filters. I like that. Oh, I mean, the Christmas mouse is cool, man. I like the Christmas mouse. It's all right, but I'm old school. I mean, the Taxiphyllum is tried and true, and then I like the V-dub, you know, the Vesicularia duviana. It's one of my favorites. You can get it to grow pretty much any kind of way you want to, and I kind of like to stick with that one. Some of these other mosses done came on the scene and took over, you know, but I like them too. I like them all. I appreciate them all, but that's my personal favorite is the V-dub. But yeah, I'm gonna shoot this one for a minute, just trying to let everybody see it real quick when they pile in. Then I'm gonna go jump on the 1984 because there's some good subject matter in that one. I wanted to show everybody what biofilm looks like because I know we talked about that last week, and you know, just kind of show folks that it's normal, what to expect, you know, to look for it. Here go the biofilm right here though, and as soon as I figure out how to do a live stream with this expensive camera I just bought, I'll do that and jump off the phone. But like right there on that banana stem, that's biofilm right there, and it's completely natural. This new wood right here is starting to develop it. I'll say probably by next week, by this time next week, I should have a good coat of biofilm on it. I'm hoping to anyway. That's letting me know that I didn't kill everything off from boiling it, so we'll see. We shall see. Well, I ain't gonna wait. I'm rolling. I mean, everybody can catch it. Can catch it on the flip side. It is what it is. But real quick, added my third round of botanicals, and I'm gonna say it's the final round. It's not necessarily the final round, because as you're doing water changes, you're taking out, you're replacing. Obviously, you're gonna dilute your tint. I say it's my final round in the sense that this is the achieved tint that I want. So this is the color I'm looking for. This is the color I'm gonna keep. That's what I mean when I say my final round. One of my assassin snails finally came out. I think it's the only. No, I put like 3 of them in here. 3 or 4 for no reason. I saw a bladder snail in here and it looked like he finna go get him. Let me move this camera. There go the assassin right there, and then up there in the corner there go the little bladder snail. So his days might be numbered, hopefully so. But like I was saying, that's it. This is it for the botanicals. And then too, a few small changes. I took out the rock. I wasn't digging the rock, and B, I didn't like what the rock was doing to my water chemistry. It's bad enough that underneath the GoPro I cut it with sand. And the only reason I cut it with sand is because of all the swords I have in here. Otherwise, I would have went straight with the clay substrate and capped it off with some sand just for looks. So I took the rock out. I took the Anubias out because I wasn't feeling the Anubias in here either. Added a few more swords, and I'm gonna be honest, it's just my OCD. That undulatus right there. I'm debating. I'm on the fence. I don't know, man. What you think? I think it should go. I really think it should go, and I think I should put a whole clump of pygmy chainsword right there. Either that, or I was thinking about putting in some giant hair grass, some of the Eliocharis, my bad, Eliocharis monavensis. The giant will go good in there, and it'll grow submerged year round too. I got some in this tank across the living room, and I thought I got it all out. And some just popped up on its own. So I might roll with that. I think it'll give it a cool look just in the back. To kind of, let it, just to give it a different look, I got coconut. I put the coconut husk in there, which looked pretty cool with the other pods, and then I got the tamarind pods in there, kind of setting it off, which is pretty sweet. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the look. I got one more thing. Like, you can't call it a pentanol tank a pentanol without something on the top. The micro sword, yeah, I think I'm gonna roll with that. So, keeping it, I have several varieties. I have the Liliopsis, which is not even really a sword. I mean, it's like it's the store name. And then I have true Echinodoros, the pygmy chain sword and regular chain sword. So I might mix and match and throw a little bit of both in there, and then put some of the giant hair grass in there too. So I think I'm gonna roll with that. But for the top, like if you look at the pentanol, like it's straight up floating islands of vegetation that are, in some cases, I don't know, I'd say like 6, 7, 8 foot thick of just matted vegetation. So I can't really call this a pentanol setup and not have something on the top. So that's another reason I got HOBs on here versus canisters, because I can use the flow from the HOBs to isolate the top growth to where I want it, which would be in the middle, so I still have enough diffused light to make it down here to where my swords get enough sufficient lighting to continue to grow. So that's the idea. I haven't decided yet what I'm gonna use. I'm thinking like something. I'm really thinking about red rooted floater. You know, water lettuce possibly. Don't know just yet. It might help with the bio load in here that the swords don't pick up. But I got a few ideas I'm rolling around in my head, and that's what I'm gonna use. So that was real quick, just an update on what Frogbit would go, man. I was thinking about Frogbit too, but I ain't gonna lie, Frogbit is in my duckweed category, man. I got a love-hate relationship with Frogbit. It's beautiful. I really love the roots, you know, and the growth is nice, but like I said, I got a love-hate. I'm gonna change the filter back to normal. Hold up. Yeah, bro, for real. Like I got a love-hate relationship with duckweed, but I don't know. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about the Frogbit. It's on the list. Duckweed. I even let duckweed cross my mind, you know. But then I was like, no, because once it's in there, it's in there. It ain't coming out. I don't care what you do. It ain't coming out. I mean, you can try to net it out, and it'll be gone for a couple weeks, and then slowly but surely you'll see little bitty leaflets of duckweed self-propagating. Like once it's in there, it's in there. So duckweed, no. And I mean I feel the same way about Frogbit too, really and truly, but it's on there. I really am liking the idea of red rooted floater. You know, I'm really liking that idea. And then that'll finish it off, and we'll be good to go on the Pantanal. So with that's out the way, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the core of the stream, and I'm gonna move upstairs to my 1984 setup. I'm also gonna show the boost tank. I know I talked about it last week, I think, either last week or the week before, but I salvaged what I could, planted some more, and I got it back to it ain't nowhere as good as it did look, but it's decent. So I'm gonna move upstairs, and then we can go ahead and kick off the stream. I'm gonna flip the camera. But yeah, so we're moving to the 1984. Like I said, I'm gonna plug the boost tank real quick, and then I got cool giveaways for you guys tonight. One live giveaway, a t-shirt as always, and we'll do botanicals again. So let me flip. And this tank is starting to slowly become one of my favorite tanks, straight up. Is that coming through clearly? Yeah, this one's straight up. I mean, obviously it's a concept tank. I don't like the aquascape word. I just do tanks. Whatever I want, like that's in my head, I try to pop it into a fish tank and see what we can get. But with this one, I had a lot of fun, and I like using planting styles. Like planting styles is cool. Like this is a jungle style aquarium. Originally, when I brought this one back up, because it's been several things, but when I brought it back up last year, I brought it up as a just a plain jungle nano, no real just different stuff with a lot of lush overgrowth and wood. No discipline. So once again, this one's no discipline. I'm letting everything go unruly. Everything is still organized. But I'm going to address the elephant in the room before I get into this tank. I was getting some more stock to put in this tank. I left a lot of the original inhabitants in here. Like I got coolie loaches, I let them stay. The puffers came back finally. I let the black line rasboras stay. And I let my Siamese algae eater stay. Everything else that was in here had to move because it wasn't fitting what I was trying to do. So I got a new addition. I put scissor-tail rasboras in here. And I got one in here that looked like a heroin junkie. And I didn't notice it until I got them home and floated and put into the tank, because while I was having the fish bagged up, I was running around the store grabbing some other stuff, and he ended up in the bag. Like, and I mean, I ain't really tripping on the dude that caught the fish, because I can only imagine what it's like standing on a ladder chasing rasboras around, you know, a 55 gallon, you know, 40 gallon, 50 gallon tank. So it is what it is. I'm not finna mess this. I ain't finna tie this tank up trying to catch that fish. We're gonna see what they do. I got them on high protein. They got a good diet. Water is spot on, you know. So maybe that was, you know, the angel or something coming for him. So we'll see what happened with him. There's another one in here that I ain't too crazy about. I know, right? That was his lucky day, because he came to the best home he probably could have. He been on a steady diet of black worms, bug bites, you name it. So yeah, I guess we'll name him Lucky. I was gonna name him Junkie, but it is what it is. But so now that that's out the way, I stayed low tech with this one. Really, because I'm trying to show people that just get your plants, basically. Get your plants. And everything that you do after that is up to your own individual creativity. I dose this tank when I remember to. In fact, the only thing I do on a regular basis is water changes and feed the fish, water changes, and turn off the light. That's it. I don't trim. I don't intend to trim. You know, I mean, I'm not playing. Like, I don't trim. This leopard valve was way too long, and it's doing its own thing. I probably should trim off that dead part right there, but I'm not going to, because I got stuff in here that'll eat it. That was the whole point of this tank being the way it is. But like I was saying, you know, and I just got some cool, quote unquote, low-tech plants, and I'm gonna address that too. So like, I see a lot of people talking about high-tech, low-tech, medium-tech, and in my mind, the word technology and plants, well, technology and nature, it's an oxymoron. There is no tech included. I mean, CO2. Seriously. Okay, so here's the technology in CO2. You get a thank you. You got a canister, you got a regulator, you got some hoses, and then you get bubbles of gas. There's no technology included in. Where's the technology? You screw some stuff together, you hook some stuff up, you make sure that you don't put too much in there at one time so you don't gas all your critters, and then you call it a day. Like, don't get me wrong, I mean, they got iPhone apps and everything you can hook up to a fish tank, but like, I'm not crazy about tech and nature. Like, they don't go together. Like, it's just gadgets and stuff. At the end of the day, if you do the basics, you're good. You're good where you're at. You know, so that's kind of my take on it, you know, but everything in here is low maintenance, with the exception, I got some green wavy in here, and this, I don't know. It's a point prover. I mean, it's a little iron deficient because it's in shock. Because I moved it. I harvested this from a grow out tank that I have. But it's green wavy. And she a little bit yellow. Those are transitioning leaves. But if you look right there at the top, you can see the new leaves are already starting to come through. And I ain't trimming it. I'm just going to let it ride. I'm letting it ride. And she'll be fine. I'll give it 2-3 weeks and she'll be absolutely fine. But that's the only plant that's quote unquote demanding, and I grow boost. I haven't seen it demanding yet. It's a slow grower. It don't like the rhizome buried. But other than that, I ain't gonna trim it. I ain't gonna trim it. DPK Fish Aquariums. What's up, man? Thank you for stopping by. No, I don't plan on trimming it. I'm gonna let it roll. You know, I got the Ricardia in here. It's another plant that everybody says is hard to grow and you need CO2 and all this other stuff. I haven't came across it yet where I needed it, and this stuff in here is going bananas all over these rocks. I'm not trimming that either, you know, but that was really the concept. Back here in this corner, I got stargrass, and then I got one of my favorites. It's Pogastem and quadrifolius, and that whole corner back there is gonna look like an abandoned parking lot in a couple weeks. It's already starting to do its thing. It's already starting to grow, but it'll be all the way to the top of the tank. I wanted it to have that look for a reason, so that's why I put that in there. Somebody give me a topic, man. Ask a question or something. Each time I trim something, it's hit and miss. Each tank I have react differently when trimming. Yeah, that's true. I feel the same way. What's the dark green? The dark green, you talking about on the rock? If the dark green on the rock, that's Ricardia. Yeah, that's what. Matter of fact, that's what we had. We had a debate about that in the last stream. Last weekend we had a debate about the like growth forms versus plant identification versus retail names in pet stores. So like I was elaborating to the fact that I had some Subwassertang, and I had it in 2 different growth forms. I had it in a highlight growth form, and I had it in a low light growth form. In a highlight growth form, really compact, really bushy, just a real tight, right? And then in the low light form, it looks almost, it's reminiscent. I don't know if y'all do saltwater tanks, but like I'm even like a plant junkie in saltwater, and no, I don't have one set up, and I'm just being stubborn and not doing it, but it reminds me of Caulerpa. Caulerpa is a seaweed. It's pretty common. People put it in their refugiums and stuff if they're on that side of reef keeping. But I liked Caulerpa. Caulerpa's a pretty cool one, but that's what the Subwassertang reminded me of. But this is Ricardia, and a couple store names is like Coral Moss. That's one of the main ones. There's a few other ones thrown out there. My thing is, get the scientific name of the plant that you want. That way you make sure you get the right thing. Like this moss right here, or not moss, this Java fern. It's Microsorum pteropus Windalove. And it's not like in the transition either. It's plants grow slower. I noticed that higher TDS in plants grow slower. It makes the water denser for some reason. I got hard water, and I noticed that it depends on the plant, to be honest. You know, like some of my plants, they totally dig the hard water, and some of them aren't too crazy about it. I know Val, for some reason, Val loves hard water. I don't grow it, but I used to. Elodia, Anacharis, stuff like that, they like hard water. Anubius loves hard water. So does Bulbitis. And those are just, I'm just spouting off the top of my head. Like, these are really informal live streams. I am not gonna put y'all through death by PowerPoint or go and pull up like some BS off of Wikipedia or something. Like, everything that I'm talking about is coming like straight off the dome. So like, if you know, jump in, feel free to chime in, because I can't remember half of this stuff. Like, I gotta think for a little while. But those are some of the ones I know for a fact that totally dig the hard water. Boost likes it on the hard side too, really and truly. And I'm gonna show y'all my resurrected Boost tank here in a minute. But Boost digs the hard water. What up, Brian? What's good, man? Hey, did you get your package? But like I was saying, yeah, those are plants that definitely like hard water. And then too, oh, no sweat. For y'all that don't know, Brian won one of the giveaways last week, and hopefully he was happy with what he got. So basically how it works is, get on here, participate, and I pick somebody from the crowd to pick the winner, and we go from there. That's how it works. And like I said, we're giving away a snail combo pack courtesy of Tampa Aquaculture. So I want to thank them for that. And I'm going to give away a sample of botanicals courtesy of Tannin Aquatics. And I'm going to give away a t-shirt courtesy of yours truly and my bank account. So y'all chill out and hang out, and we'll get it going. But anyway, like I was saying, those are some that I know for a fact they dig hard water. Also in here, you will notice, yeah, snails, good snails too. Like, some of the best quality I've seen in a long time. The assassins were freaking huge. I got some downstairs. The Nerites, they're like mystery snail size. Freaking huge. Good color. I mean, I got eggs all in my tank. I don't know if a tiger did it or if a zebra did it, but I know that in this tank over here in another room, it's my red and green rainbow tank, my Rotala tank. It has snail eggs all over it. I also have fancy shrimp in that tank as well. So going back to it, you know, like if you notice too, the fish, I was trying to keep all the fish with the exception of the bristlenose. The bristlenose is the odd man out. Most of the fish, all of them are cyprinids except for the puffers, but they all kind of come from the same locale, plus or minus a couple thousand miles, which in fish terminology, that's really not a whole lot. You know, they're all over there from the same neck of the woods. So that's pretty much, that's what led me to do this tank. And really, it's to show y'all that, hey, it's all up to your personal creativity. And no, you don't need to go spend a lot of money on expensive plants, expensive stuff. Like, straight up, this is a 30 gallon, a regular 30 gallon. I got a cheapy $15 HOB filter on here. And I got some thrift store lights. I think I got the price tag on one of them. I got some thrift store lights. It cost me like $3.99. I just bought good light bulbs to put the color I wanted. And that's it. You know, I mean, I don't have algae problems. I don't have anything. I would hope so. I mean, I'm kind of like, I'll let nature do its thing. If they breed, they breed. You know, it's always a treat to see something in your tank that you know you didn't put in there. But at the same time, like, I look at it because, like, I notice cats will watch my videos, like this bio-orb video. Like, I don't regret it, but oh my God, had I known that people, like, that's like our culture now, though, with everything. Gimmicks, like, straight up, everybody loves gimmicks. I got almost 100 videos on my channel. In like, out of all those videos, this bio-orb video I did, it was like a review / how to do it without killing everything video. But that video has, like, I don't know, like 17,000 views. And everybody keeps commenting, talking about how overcrowded the tank was. And I keep having to remind people that if they actually watch the whole video, that the fish that were in there, A, were temporary, and B, I was using them to help me cycle the tank. They are no longer in there. But the reason I bring that up is to make this point. If you know nature, then you understand a little bit more about how stuff works. Like, I'm a country boy. I'm from Texas. I know for a fact that I have seen mud puddles. And I'm talking about a mud puddle. Not a small lake, a small pond. I'm talking about a mud puddle. Loaded with fish. Only to come back in a week, 2 weeks. The mud puddle is gone. The fish are gone. A few months later, it'll rain again. Mud puddle will be totally full with fish again. And it's the same thing. I mean, you watch National Geographic, or if anybody's ever traveled anywhere or went to a national park, anything, just get in the woods, get in nature. It's the same thing. They get in where they fit in. And that's how I run my tanks. Am I going to say that there's no limit, or I should say like a guideline on how many fish you could safely put in a tank? Absolutely, there's guidelines. However, if you're running your tank the right way, and if you're running your bio, if you're running your bio the same way, then there's nothing wrong with it. Now, these are mud puddle fish, though. Keep that in mind. I'm not talking about, you know, people that's got like 800 gallons of fish swimming in 150 gallons of water. That's not cool. Those fish have not evolved to live in those kinds of conditions, and you probably shouldn't have them living in those kinds of conditions. One of the examples I could think of that people do this a lot, and I ain't trying to throw nobody under the bus, man. You like it, I love it. I'm just saying, cichlid keepers, man. Like, I don't care how many filters you got on there. I don't care how many sumps you got on there, dude. Like, you got a 150 gallon tank with like 30 or 40 African cichlids in there. Like, uncool, man. Like, that's overcrowding. These mud puddle fish, they are perfectly fine where they at. I got tons of plants in here to reduce the bio load, and these fish in the wild would have a lifespan of probably 18 to 24 months anyway. I know I can get 6 to 7 years out of these guys in a fish tank. No worries. You know, so that's my spiel on overcrowded fish tanks. Like, do the research. And then too, I just trust nature. I mean, I've been doing this long enough to where I trust the animals. They know more about what's gonna make them happy than I do. All I'm doing is making educated guesses and going broke trying to do it. I know what a nuka fish, and I know what won't nuka fish, and everything else is just a learning experience. I know, right? For real, man. Like, you get these cats, and like I said, I ain't knocking nobody, man. Cichlids are beautiful. I used to keep them back in the day. I don't anymore. because it's too much work. They eat too much, and you know, I like plants. Yeah, I love plants. The fish are secondary, but you know, they go throw all these cichlids in a tank, and like they just keep putting them in there, and it's like, no, bruh, like that's too many fish. I don't care how many filters you got on there. Like, it ain't even so much about all they're alive, albeit, but they not living. Like, people will say that my tanks are overcrowded, but what they fail to realize is my fish are thriving. They're absolutely thriving. Like, they're alive and they're living. They're living good. I'm trying not to use profanity, but y'all get where I'm going with that. But so I mean, what y'all got? What kind of projects y'all working on right now? What's the new thing on the street? Nobody got a new project going on? I think stress is the biggest issue. These things go up so fast. Stress is the biggest issue in preventing fish disease. It's the #1 trigger, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. A stressful fish is way more inclined to become sick or diseased. That's just nature doing its thing. And what people fail to realize is creating a environment that's conducive to alleviating stress, which is why in my tanks you will see tons in epic proportions. I mean, tons of cover. You don't have to worry about losing your fish when you got a lot of cover, because guess what? When they get comfortable, they're gonna come out anyway. So with me, the more cover, the better, and you have healthy, happy fish. Resealing, starting to breed shrimp. That's what's up. What kind of shrimp, man? What kind of shrimp you starting to breed? I have babies, but I'm scared to more than 10% water changes because I don't want large pH swings. I'm using stratum. I'm also breeding. So, like, what I've noticed with the with the pH swings, right? And I see where you're coming from. So I don't really have too much experience with the Caradinas, but I've been doing Neos for a hot minute. Neos so much don't care about pH. And I don't want people to attack me and say I'm full of BS. Let me explain. So like a swing will totally nuke your shrimp. They like stable water. And what I've noticed in mine is they like new water. A way to, I mean, if you go by TDS, you can go by TDS. And I know a lot of cats, like one of my buddies in Houston, he don't even do TDS. Like, he'll do pH, and he'll set a specific pH, and straight up he knows if his pH is at and this is for like crystal reds, crystal blacks. This is for Caradinas, man. So like he'll run a pH of like 6.8, 6.7, around up in there, right? And he already knows that if his pH is at that parameter, then his GH is going to be spot on, and his KH is going to be spot on. And he always has tons of shrimp. Always. So I kind of started following that method, and it ain't failed me. Like, I've noticed, and this is just my personal experience now, I've noticed that in just keeping fish, plants, everything, you know, for at least 2 decades, I've noticed that the more you nuke it, the more stuff goes wrong. sometimes we get impatient as hobbyists, you know, and we want to just fix it. You know, we want to play whatever, you know, we want to be Doc McStuffins. You can't be Doc McStuffins all the time. Sometimes you gotta just let it even out. I mean, obviously, if it's something that's critically detrimental to the health of your livestock and you have to intervene, absolutely go ahead and intervene. But sometimes you just gotta let it, ride and do like how it do. Because what I've noticed is the more stuff I do to tanks, changing parameters, changing temperatures, playing with the water, it's like an open-ended question. You fixing one thing, but what you didn't think about happening is all those other things that was waiting to happen. So you just constantly doing stuff. I've learned that I stick to the basics and I leave it alone and I'm good, along the lines of keeping a good maintenance schedule, maintaining biointegrity, so clean hands, you know, no cross-contamination of the tanks, stuff like that in general. And then just keeping a schedule, so consistency, you know, change your water like you're supposed to. Don't overfeed, stuff like that. And I haven't had a problem. TDS, these comments be flying by. I agree, TDS can make it go up with anything you add, whether you use mineral or ferts. It increases it each time. Yep. So like that's my thing. Like, if your shrimp are happy, they're gonna breed. Cover, good water, and food, and your shrimp will do the rest. I mean, the only thing that I worry about with my shrimp and my shrimp water is just making sure the mineral content is where it needs to be so they can molt properly, and also so my buried females don't drop eggs. Other than that, I kind of just let them do their own thing, and I just make sure I keep my water spot on. Straight up zero ammonia, which is obvious. Zero trite, which is obvious. And if I can swing it, damn near zero nitrate, you know. And I haven't had a problem. I mean, I really don't trip on the nitrate too much. Should I dose ferts in my shrimp tank? What are the dangers? You know what, man? I'm going to be honest. This tank I got, and we'll shoot that. Look at the video. Look at the video of the rainbow tank or one of my fancy shrimp. One of the last videos. I did one either this week I posted it or last week. Look at that video. I got like some straight up prima donna plants in there. Like they're snobs. They needy. I got Waliki in there. I got a bunch of like no-name Rotala that one of my buddies hooked me up with. I got Myriophyllum. It's another no-name Myrio that my buddy hooked me up with. And I'm running CO2. I'm dosing. I'm doing everything. And the shrimp in there are absolutely fine. What the thing with fertilizers is the heavy metals that are toxic. The one that comes to my mind right off the top of my head is copper. So you want to get something that doesn't have copper in it. And I remember I was scared too a while back about dosing because I had some ghosties. Yeah, I had some ghosties in there, and I was breeding ghost shrimp. And I was worried about if the ferts were going to hurt them. So I straight up got on the website and looked up the phone number to Seachem and called them and asked them if their fertilizers were shrimp safe. And they straight up told me that they were. And I did not lose any of my shrimp using any of the Flourish line. But just as a precaution, just me being me, I just did half doses on everything. And I was cool. And it actually helped out anyway because I didn't have to worry about algae or nothing. And my plants were still getting the nutrients that they needed. So if you worried about dosing, I would dose. Yeah, man, absolutely. And then I got a link to Nilcog. Thrive makes a shrimp safe fertilizer. And if you want to order that, you can order the Shrimp Safe Thrive. It works, but I mean, just like if you just want to go to the store, if you already using the Flourish line, and this is my experience, is Shrimp Safe to my knowledge. If you want to get on the Q&A forum, I think I even seen it on the Q&A forum that they said that their products, that their Flourish line of products are Shrimp Safe. I use the Aqua Vitro line too. Hold on, let me grab this one. So like when I start playing with my macronutrients and micronutrients, which is rare, but I do from time to time, I use that too, and I haven't had a problem. I haven't had a problem with it knocking off any of my shrimp. But yeah, that was definitely a good question. Yeah, check that video out, and it'll like it's living proof. Like, and that tank's dosed. Like, I straight up had hair algae invasion, and I was getting the OCD, man, because like I got animals, I got livestock, obviously, but I'm not gonna say I don't care about the livestock, because I do. Please don't misunderstand me, but I'm a plant nerd. And like I was like, look, shrimp, we gonna have to now if you test it, yeah, that's true. I like to with the city water, I just use Prime. I'm gonna just be honest, Prime or whatever the API makes. What's it called? Stress Coat, not the water conditioner. I don't use the water conditioner for no specific reason. I just don't use it. I use Stress Coat because it does the same thing. And most of your water conditioners will detoxify heavy metals, and you should be good to go. Like I said, I don't use RO water. I don't purchase it. I don't have an RO unit. I've been using tap water my whole life, and I haven't had an issue. I just use water conditioner. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, since we live chatting, I'll get to you in a minute, Daniel. Hold up. Since we live chatting, I'm gonna just be blatantly honest. Like, even sometimes when I do my top offs after I do a water change, I don't even use water conditioner. I just put straight tap in there and never nuked. I ain't never nuked nothing. I ain't never lost nothing. Like, they don't even care. I don't know if it's because of the bio, or if it's because of the plants, or maybe we just got lucky and we got okay water here. I don't know, but, you know, 10%, yeah. I mean, sometimes I forget, you know, because I'm running multiple tanks at one time. I forget to put water conditioner in some. You know, 50 or more, then absolutely, yeah. Or like if I'm doing a flush and fill to, you know, totally recycle a tank, then absolutely, I'm putting water conditioner in the whole time. But using RO water, I don't personally use it. I mean, I wish that I had the facilities to get RO water, but I just learned how to use tap water. Most people have tap water, you know, so, you know, I can tell you how to use tap water. I am going to purchase a RO filter. Sometimes they don't put all the things they use. This past month, a massive die-off, and then figure out it. Oh yeah, that's true. That's a good point you bring up. And then Daniel, I'm gonna get back to you about the shrimp. I noticed that too. So like when it rains or if it floods, yeah, when it rains or if it floods, right? So like depending on like what municipality you live in, the water treatment facility will add stuff to the water to make it potable for human consumption, you know? So you have to watch that. What I do, seriously, like what I do when I use tap water, anytime I'm putting water in a tank, I clear it, man. I will let that water run for like 10, 15 minutes, easy, before I use it. And then, like I said, I'm throwing conditioner in there. And then too, it's not like I do it on purpose, but I do know, like, if it rains or if it's just crazy, like with the weather, I can smell the water coming out of the tap and know if it's cool or not to go in the tank. And then also too, like I try to, like if it's raining, I ain't doing a water change. Like, yeah, they'll do chlorine and chloramine. Water report's good to get. I was going to get to that. Thank you, man. You're helping me out tremendously. The changing seasons, too, because I was going to say, like, when it gets hot, like, certain bacteria will start producing, and the water treatment people will go and dump, like, buttloads of chemical in the water to keep up with the bacteria and stuff so people don't get sick. And it's kind of crazy because I don't drink tap water. I drink spring water. Like I'm not bougie or nothing. I just like I'm not trying to. I try to like limit the amount of poison that I, willfully put into my body. But like it's crazy. We talk about this stuff in fish tanks. Ammonia, nitrates, nitrite, chlorine, chloramine. And we don't even think, like, it's poison everywhere. Like, you brought that up about the water report, right? And this totally doesn't have anything to do with fish, but it kind of does, right? So I was at work, and I was watching the news. They have the news on in the lobby sometimes. And it was like a commercial for lunch meat, like sandwich meat, right? And the commercial had on there, now this meat doesn't have... Now it comes without nitrate or nitrites or nitrate, something to that effect. And I'm thinking, and like I work in the food business, and I was like, holy crap. Ammonia. We talk about how horrible ammonia is all the time for a fish tank. How horrible nitrite is. How horrible nitrates are. But we fail to realize is they put that stuff in food, especially meat, to kill bacteria because it's a preservative, so like it's just like about educating yourself how all these things tie into not just keeping fish but your daily life as well, so that was just a tangent. I thought that was kind of cool. Let me go back over here and I'm gonna get to you what you was talking about with the shrimp before we went off on that tangent about the water. My mystery snails are showing poor shell growth. I know calcium is the way to help, but will dosing that hurt my shrimp? Absolutely not. That's the cool thing about snails and shrimp being in the same tank. They both need the same minerals. The mineral rocks, I know the Monty Morolite, if I'm saying that right, the Monty Morolite clay, there's a few different ones, but I keep some kind of sedimentary rock in any tank that I'm going to have invertebrate crustaceans in, snails, shrimp, etc. And I haven't had a problem. Like, honestly, do I go out of my way to put the mineral rocks in my tank? No. I figured out a way to get around that. Look at this rock right here, and I got some in the boost tank. Matter of fact, we're going to move to the boost tank in just a second. Matter of fact, let's do that now. Give me a second. I'm going to move the camera, so it's going to get shaky. I'll try to do it fast. Okay, so here's my boost tank, right? If it'll look good. Hold on. Let me get the camera down. There we go. And the focus. Okay, so this is my boost tank. Let it focus. Let it focus. Okay, so don't even ask me. I don't remember how many kinds of boosts I got in there, but I got a few, more than a few. Kia Royale, Kita Gang, Mini, Black Angel, I think. I got Arrogant Blue, Brownie Red. There's a few. There's a bunch. But to the rock, right? To answer your question, Daniel, check this out. That is sedimentary rock. Okay, so like I got that rock shipped to me by a buddy of mine from Arkansas, and it's straight up minerals, and it does change your water composition. This is a shrimp tank. It's not stocked yet because I have something coming that for a project that I'm working on. Thank you, man. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Like the things, the comment thingies go fast, so I have to keep scrolling to read them. I'm not being stuck up because I don't have a stuck up bone in my body. Like I'm too down to earth. But yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like with the rock, right? I'm not gonna add any mineral to this tank. I use this rock specifically for the boost. So I'm going to kill two birds with one stone, and I'm going to let the shrimp benefit from the water condition that the boost needs to thrive in. So that's how I'm killing two birds. And I mean, like, this is, you know, everybody's tank is different. But these are just little things that I have noticed that work, and I stick to them. So I don't got to go spend extra money on stuff because, I mean, it's cool. Like, you're paying for the convenience. But what I'm saying is, like, if you go order, like, a thing of a mineral block for a shrimp, right? And then you just look at the basic rudimentary analysis of what that mineral block is comprised of. And you say, you know, like, after, you know, like 6 months or something, you doing some research and you're like, I'll be damn, I could have went to the Dollar Tree and spent $3 and bought the same thing that I just spent, you know, $14.99 plus shipping to get. And, you know, you end up feeling stupid. And that's basically, you know, that's how I turned into like a renegade fish tank keeper, because I wouldn't call it do it yourself, because I spend the money on convenience in a heartbeat. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, there ain't no substitute for research. I mean, somebody had to figure out something that go in it, and 9 times out of 10 it's something that you can source yourself. Either you already got it around the house or something. I just seen a cat while ago send me a video where your boy Corey from Aquarium Co-op was talking about using Tums to put in the fish tank for a calcium source. I ain't never used it, so I can't say if it work or if it don't work, but I don't see what it would hurt. I ain't gonna try it no time soon, but I mean, I'm gonna look into it and see, you know. Who knows, it might work, you know. But that's what I was saying. So now since we over here on the boost tank, didn't one of y'all say y'all was growing some boosts, or am I mistaken? Dry banana leaves is great for shrimp. They love eating it. Yeah, I use those. I use banana leaves. I use a bunch of different kinds of leaves. They eat, well, they, meaning my shrimp. Okay, so they get a commercially prepared shrimp food. They get blanched spinach. I feed them the organic spring mix because that's what I eat. So, like, you know, like if it gets all wilty in the bag, so rather than throw it away, I throw it in my shrimp tanks and they absolutely destroy it. Like, I don't, you know how like when it gets all slimy and stuff in the bag, so before it gets that awful, which it never usually does, but if it starts to look like it's going bad, I'm not going to eat it. I just throw it in my shrimp tank and they destroy it. So I give them that, and then they get catappa leaves, they get banana leaves, they get guava. I can't even name them all, but I do a leaf. They like magnolia leaves. Magnolia leaves are one of my personal favorites just because they last a really long time. And out of all the leaves that I've used, nettle. I think you're talking about nettle probably, because they love nettle. And I'm paranoid about harvesting it, but if you harvest it and prepare it properly, then absolutely they love nettle. Yeah, it's nettle. It's nettle. Gotta be, because nettle's a weed around here, and I know for a fact you can feed your shrimp nettle. Actually, nettle's good for people too. It's really good for you. It's got it's packed with nutrition. But what was I? See, dude, I totally just had a brain fart. Y'all gotta forgive me. It's best to grow it in a hydroponic. Oh, the lettuce. Yeah, I grow it outside. I grow it outside. Most of my stuff, I got garden boxes. I don't care, bro. I'll use any container. A bucket, a tote tub. I got a few garden boxes that we made out of repurposed wood from a pallet. Like, and you know what? That brings me into something that I was wanting to talk about. In general, right? Growing plants. It's not hard. What I suggest, like, I don't just do fish tank plants. Like, I was born with a green thumb, straight up, and I grow everything. I grow food. I grow plants for plants. I like roses. Like, you name it, I like growing it. But I liked fish tanks, and it was only a matter of time before I ended up figuring out that plants should probably be in a fish tank. And it dawned on me, it took me a minute to put two and two together that, you know, if you can't keep a house plant alive, you probably ain't going to be able to keep a plant alive in a fish tank either. Because they all need the same things. The only difference between house plants and aquatic plants is water. That's it. You know, they all need it, but these ones live in it. That's the only difference. But what was the last question? Hold on. I was making sure I answered your question. These are banana leaves. You're talking about the calcium. Calcium. I'm scrolling the comments. I wanted to make sure I got your question answered the right way. We're talking about the calcium. There's a lot of comments I gotta scroll through. Give me a second here, y'all. Poor shell growth. Mystery snails. That's it. Yeah. So hopefully that answered your question with the calcium. You know, that's what I would do, man. Like, either purchase a calcium supplement that is pre-prepared and, you know, deemed safe to use in your aquarium, or do some research and see if there's a way you could get around it and do that. Like, I got some calcium vitamins, like the cheapy store brand, and every once in a while, like, I'll take like a little nick of one of those and throw that in the water, and no adverse effects. I mean, you just got to be careful that there's no, look at the fillers, because it's not going to be pure calcium. There's going to be some inert fillers that they use to make the vitamin with, but it's mostly calcium. Another one that I Cuddle Bone. Like, if you ever like have birds and stuff, Cuddle Bone works. You can get it at the pet store. It's all natural. Grind it up, like, you know, hit it with a hammer, throw a couple pieces in there. You should be good. There's a bunch of different ones. You know, oyster shell's good. There's a few different ways to put it in there without buying stuff that people sell that they say, you know, like, I try to stay away from the end-all be-alls, you know, because a lot of people get roped into that kind of stuff where it's like, well, they said this is what you use, and this is the only thing you can use. No, that's not the case. At the end of the day, your fish, your plants, your livestock, they don't care how they get it. They just got to get it. So it's up to us to educate ourselves and do the research to figure out how to give it to them without killing them. It's that simple, you know. So there's no end-all be-all. I mean, there's people that have used stuff that works and it works for them. And, you know, like I said, I'm an experimenter, you know. Sometimes, let me see what we got here. Let me see. I use B12 and vitamin C tablets in low dose. Oh, cool. I'm glad I answered it. I use B12 and vitamin C tablets in low doses, but make sure it doesn't have additives. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, a vitamin's a vitamin. They're all on the periodic chart. Like, they're all the same thing. They're all compounds, man. You know. So like that's usually where I get into it with people when they, you know, swear by a product. Like, I don't care about products. I never did. If it works, it works. If it don't work, it don't work. Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm not finna spend $15 for some ground up oyster shell that somebody made into a shape and put a pretty package on it with some pretty shrimp. No, dude, I'll just go get some oyster shells and hit them with a hammer because it's free, it's cheap, and, you know, I'll get to take my frustration out by breaking stuff. So, like, that's how I do, you know. But to each his own. Like, I'm gonna give you a prime example, okay? This stuff, right? I ain't plugging these people. You see this stuff? Bio Booster, right? I've been spiking fish tanks ever since I've been having fish tanks. So what I mean by spiking them, like, I will take a filter, a dirty filter, and I will throw the whole damn filter in the tank and just leave it in there. Make the water look like chocolate milk. And I'll leave it in there for like a day. And then I take the filter out, I squeeze it, and I turn on the filter that's in the tank. And it'll polish the water in about an hour, and I'm good to go. I'm completely good to go. I've been doing that for a long time. Beets is good, red. Yeah, like, I straight up make it look like chocolate milk, you know. But now they got this stuff that you can buy, and you know, like, holy crap, man, the people that sit around and think about this stuff, like, I don't know. I think it's just the way, like, my integrity is set up. Like, I wouldn't sell that to nobody, but I'm stupid enough to buy it. Go figure. You know, like, who would have thought, you know? You could take your dirty fish tank water, put it in a bottle, and put a pretty label on it and sell it to people. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I don't waste my water change water. Like, I straight up run a hose to my plants outside, and like, it's about to be gardening season here. And all my plants, my tomato plants, my peppers, my squash, my herb garden, everybody get fish tank water. And yeah, I get like uber yields, like, so, and I don't have to pay for poison, you know, like store fertilizer. So yeah, all of my plants outside, they get fish tank water. The roses love it too, you know. But anybody else got another topic? We already running an hour. Yeah. You need to. Hey, bro, go get you a garden. Like, seriously, like, I go on post, and like right now, so like, not this week or next week, they finna start putting the plants out. And I said this before. They put the plants out early, before the last round of cold weather, because it's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss. And that's when they're cheap. Once the warm weather gets here and it sticks, that's when the plants ain't on sale no more. So I go and I get my plants early. And if it's too cold to put them outside, I'll start them in the garage, or I'll start them in the kitchen or something. Just somewhere warm where they're not exposed to the elements. And then when it get hot, I'll put them outside. But absolutely, go get a garden. You ain't got to go all out. Like, you know, 5 or 6 tomato plants. You can get a flat of 6 tomato plants for like $1, $1.50, you know, and get some pots, 2 bags of dirt, you know, and you're good to go. And, you know, you got some free food. I mean, you can't go wrong. But, like, that's how I learn. Your plants tell you what's wrong. Like, some of this boost is shocking, because I told you, like, I took everything out, took all the rocks out, took all the boosts out, salvaged some of the old boosts. Nitrogen and magnesium is great to help lawn and plant survival. Yeah, it's true. Anybody else got any questions? We're already running on an hour. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this one short and do giveaways and go ahead and call it a night. So the first thing we're giving away is, earlier you talked about your tank having the right tannins in it. Yeah, I did a video on that. I posted it this week about tannins, how to maintain. So it's really a matter of adding and removing. I've used lava sand before. I got lava rock in a couple of my tanks now. I love it. It's got a lot of silica in it though, so you got to worry about brown algae, the diatomaceous algae. But I use it, for example, not getting darker or clearer. Water changes, right? So like, once your water gets a stain, that's a stain. And I'm a black water junkie. I love black water tanks. It's natural. It's like the best water you can have your fish in my opinion. Like if you got black water fish, which most of your tropicals, your neotropical cichlids, you know, like your Central American cichlids, all of your South Americans, they're black water fish, man. Like, just they are. I mean, there's a few exceptions. But I'm saying the majority of what we know as common hobby fish, i.e. your tetras, all your tetras for the most part, your angels, your discus, etc. Stuff like that, you know, blackwater fish, hands down. They're going to benefit from having some amount of tannins in their water. So, to maintain it, like I said, your filter is going to pull some. That's just what your filter does. Do not put Purigen in a fish tank if you want to keep tannins in it. Purigen's made to, like, don't do it. Like, if I could take that tank I have right now, and it's the gas station coffee I wanted it to be, and I could go put a bag of Purigen in there. By today's Saturday, so it's going to be Sunday. By Wednesday, that tank will be crystal clear, if not sooner. So yeah, like, stay away from Purigen. Carbon, don't hurt it. I personally, just being honest again, I rarely put carbon in any of my filtration systems. Once the bio is up and running, so a tank, if I got a tank and it's 8 months or older, I promise you there ain't no carbon in there. I'll pull the carbon. What a lot of people don't realize is carbon has a critical mass limit. Okay? It's an absorbent. So it'll pull all those toxins out of your water. And then once it reaches its critical max capacity, it slowly starts leaching those components back into your tank, which is why they say to change your carbon regularly. Or you could just get a well-established bio and not have to worry about using carbon at all. I'm not knocking people that use carbon. I just think carbon is a hoax. Yeah, it works in some applications, but is it necessary to have in a fish tank filtration system? Absolutely not. I don't use it. I have it on hand, like I said, for new tanks that's cycling. It's good for pulling ammonia and stuff, but next time maybe talk about old tank syndrome. Not many people talk about it. Hell, we can talk about old tank syndrome now. That's a good topic. So, that's a good one. Old tank syndrome, right? You got a tank that's established. And it goes back to what we were talking about bacteria and bioload, right? And I hit on this in I think I hit on this in my very first stream. So, bacteria is a living thing just like everything else. It has a life cycle. It reproduces. If it performs its life functions, and then it dies. The cycle continues. This is what's continuously happening in your aquarium. So old tank syndrome is when your specific types of bacteria, and I'm not going to get too nerdy, let's just say anaerobic, which means the ones that don't like oxygen, and aerobic, which means the ones that do. I mean, there's tons of different classifications of bacteria, specific ones, but I'm not going there, keeping it simple. They stop reproducing. They get to a level where they can't handle the bio load in your tank because either you have too many of one type or not enough of one type. And you'll start to notice that you start losing fish. You start having ammonia spikes. Your nitrates get through the roof. Your nitrites crazy when before it was on par. And that's, in a nutshell, that's a real vague way of me explaining old tank syndrome. The best way that I know to avoid it is water changes, obviously, and then doing routine maintenance on your filters. Now, I know a lot of people really harp on not rinsing off the bio media and a bunch of other stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and say another thing that I do, and I think it benefits. I haven't had old tank syndrome. Like, I've had it before, yeah, of course, but God, I could not tell you the last time when. People will be like, use tank water to rinse off your filter media. I completely agree with this. However, when I'm doing an overhaul on my canisters or any of my filters, which means I'm taking them, I'm doing a full clean, and I'm putting them back on my tank, I use tap water. I straight up use tap water. It knocks off all the bacteria. Everything in my tank will recolonize. Everything in my substrate will recolonize, and it doesn't completely wipe out your bacteria, but it refreshes them just enough to get them rolling again to maintain a healthy bio. And I don't do that all the time, but every once in a while, I'll say a good once a year, I'll give it a good once around. And I've never had to worry about developing old tank syndrome. That was a good topic, man. Thank you for bringing that up. That was a good topic. And once again, like, I'm just sharing with y'all what I do. And, you know, success is one of those things. It will offset your anaerobic bacteria growing in the lower part of the substrate. Oh, you're talking about when you use the gravel vac. I don't gravel vac. I don't gravel vac. That's what I got plants for. I mean, obviously, if I had a tank that didn't have plants in it, I would gravel vac, but I don't gravel vac. I'm proactive. I'm not reactive. Like, if you don't overfeed, you're not going to have to worry about that kind of stuff. Like, there's a reason for everything. Like, I don't overfeed, you know, so I really don't have a whole lot of buildup going in my substrate, like in the different strata layers of my substrate. And whatever's in there is plant food, you know, so I don't really gravel vac. I mean, when I started out, you know, I was gravel vacuuming like crazy, but also at the same time I was overfeeding too. Now, to neutralize hydrogen sulfides in substrate, use sodium bicarbonate injection. I'm sitting here reading the comments. Use hydrogen sulfides in substrates. Use sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, and sand substrate to make it a non-toxic form. Oh, that's when you get an anaerobic buildup in your tank. Yeah, that'll cause die-off. So basically, using a baking soda solution, injecting it into your substrate to neutralize the hydrogen sulfide, which is, we call it, it's poop gas, basically. It's got the sulfuric smell, and it's highly toxic. It'll kill people, fish, animal. It'll kill anything in a high enough concentration. So yeah, I see what you're talking about in that one. So the gas exchange. Actually, when you got a buildup like that, you'll see a tank burp. It'll start burping. And actually, in nature this happens, man. So like people that have like ornamental ponds and stuff, their ponds will, I'm not sure if I'm gonna use the right terminology, but their ponds will flip. They'll bottom up, you know, and it's because they have a high anaerobic growth in their pond because they're not getting enough water turnover. A, B, they're not getting enough substrate. Their substrate's not being agitated enough, be it with the fish or whatever kind of livestock or fauna they have in there. So all this stuff will just get dense and packed down. There's no airflow going through it. So you'll get an anaerobic buildup and the whole pond will just turn upside down. Same thing will happen in tanks where you'll see like your tank will straight up, it'll just start burping, like huge bubbles will come out of nowhere in your tank, which is why I cut my substrates. I always cut my substrates. Pea gravel works good, like BB gun size pea gravel. I use clay. I use lava rock. One tank I did. I showed it in a video. Because we were going for a specific look. It was an ornamental. It was an ornamental planted tank. It was the Zen tank. It was like a Oriental theme, an Asian type theme, Zen type theme tank. And I showed building it, laying down the substrate. So I put a clay base down, and we were gonna put. We ended up putting a sand cap on the clay for ornamental purposes. But before I put the sand cap down, I put lava rock over the whole clay pack, and then I capped off the lava rock with the fine sand. So what that facilitates is you're going to get your bacterial growth colonizing in the if you don't mind it. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like look, some MTS love-hate relationship. The only negative thing that I can say about MTS is they breed like rabbits and they get in impellers and break filters. Other than that, I don't really have a problem with Malaysian trumpet snails. And yes, they absolutely do a fantastic job of turning over your gravel, and you know, like they work great, you know. But the lava rock works too. I mean, there's a few different ways you can do it. Basically, you just want to make sure that you're getting proper water circulation in your substrate, that it's not packed down like mud. Otherwise, you're going to get anaerobic growth, and then you get the hydrogen sulfide in there and you fry your fish. I can show you a corner. Matter of fact, here, check this out. I'll show you what pea puffers do to snails. Let me check this out real quick. Let me see if I can get you on this corner. Look at that. That's my snail graveyard. I just leave them in there as a reminder to the other snails. Can y'all see that? It's kind of shaky because I'm holding the tripod. But yeah, that's my snail graveyard. Puffers do their job. I like fish that earn their keep. You know. But yeah, let's go ahead and do these giveaways. I got to be in the sound booth tomorrow. I got church in the morning, so we can do these giveaways and call it a night. First giveaway will be, I'm just gonna pick, and you know what? I'm gonna just be legit, cause I'm an honest person. The only two of y'all that's hanging with me right now is, let me look here. Jaded Felix, you still in here? Thumbs up if you still in here. Matter of fact, if you still in here, just say I'm here. That way I ain't gotta scroll through all these comments. Okay, Who else? If you in here, just say you here. And we'll do it like that. Okay. Who else? Who else? Who else? Here. DPK Fish Aquariums. Where y'all from? Where y'all from? Where y'all at locally? I mean, I'm kind of curious to see who watching my streams. Give a shout out from your hometown. Florida. Florida cool. Greenville, Mississippi. Actually been to both of them places, man. Mississippi and Florida. I used to live in Florida. Mississippi cool too. My cousins stay down there. Alright, so it seemed like y'all the only two left in here, so we just gonna do the giveaways. Gotcha. First giveaway is gonna be the snails. And to make it fair, I'm gonna pick a number between 1 and 5. Okay, so guess a number between 1 and 5, and that's who get the snails. Damn, that was good, bro. Like, I'm not even trying to use profanity on camera. It just caught me off guard. That was good. No, the number was 3, man. The number was 3. Like, that's why I reacted like that. I do apologize. I hope ain't no babies watching. I wasn't trying to use any profanity. That was funny. That was funny. Like, as soon as it popped in my head, too, I swear. Like, that was the number. So, alright, congrats then. You finna get hooked up with some snails, courtesy of Tampa Aquaculture. And then DPK, you've been in here, you've been giving some good topics. I'm gonna send you courtesy of Tannin Aquatics. I'm gonna send you a sample of botanicals, and since you supported me, I'm gonna also send you one of my Warrior Planet Tanks t-shirts. How's that sound? Because you've been a real good participant, and I really appreciate that. Let me know. Thumbs up, something. Let me know. Alright, that'll do, man. Hook it up with the thumbs ups. Alright, no worries. No, thank you guys, man. Like I said, like, I just like to get in here, hang out, and talk about fish, man. Like, I'm no expert by any means. All I'm really doing is sharing, That's why they call it a hobby. Like, and I notice a lot that people kind of get into this whole thing like, their ego takes over and blah, 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 and I want to be famous, and I'm the authority on who knows, like sedimentary rocks. Who cares? At the end of the day, this is a hobby, I share with y'all what's worked for me. I learn from you guys what works for y'all, and we collaborate, and that's how we further the hobby, man, like, that's it. And this is my way of showing love, is just hanging out and shooting the breeze about fish. It's super informal. We don't support bashing people. We don't support those proclaimed know-it-alls. We don't do the pretentious nonsense around here. Like, there's other people that do that. Like, I'm just a normal dude that just so happened to be a bit on the antisocial side, and I like fish more than I like people, because they never break your heart, so thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. I appreciate both of y'all, man. Send me an email, warriorplanettanks@gmail.com. Shoot me an email with your address, and I will get those things in the post first thing next week. And we'll go from there. I'm going to go ahead and cut it short so I can let this thing upload. Everybody else will catch it on the back end, you know. And watch my videos. Leave comments, please. Like, I'm asking you guys, leave comments on the videos. Like, if there was something I could do better, I ain't going to get butthurt, you know. Like I said, I'm just sharing. I'm a fish nerd. I'm not a like professional filmmaker. I ain't no, you know, producer or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I make videos of my pet projects around here, and you know, I provide plants to people on the side for a small fee if they can't obtain them elsewhere. You know, like, that's it. Other than that, I'm just a normal dude. I ain't trying to be famous. Like, I'm uber approachable. Hit me up. I'm long-winded. I will talk to you all day about fish. I promise. So with that being said, yeah, like, totally interact on the channel. Leave comments and stuff. And spread the word. Like, if you got people that's normal, and I mean that, normal, that's just trying to keep fish tanks, shoot them a link to my channel. You know, like, you don't have to be intimidated. Like, I ain't gonna lie, man. I noticed that some of these cats, I've been on their live streams, and like, they will straight up ignore your ass. Excuse my profanity. Please forgive me for using profanity. But like, that's uncool, man. Like, who do you think you are, dude? You're just keeping fish in a tank. Like, I try to exercise as much humility as possible, because that's just the way I like to live. Like, at the end of the day, like I said, man, it's just fish. Like, seriously. But it's fun. You meet good people. And I appreciate it. So, thank you guys for sticking with me. I'm going to go ahead and sign out. I'm tired. Like I said, I got to be up early in the morning. But I will definitely get you guys your gifts. And congratulations for winning. This is Steve from Warrior Planet Tanks. I'm out. Y'all have a good night.